Stephen A., the Brooklyn Nets have lost 4 straight. How concerned are you?
Well, there's reason to be concerned because health is an issue in terms of James Harden. My attitude, however, is that as long as they have Kevin Durant, they're going to be just fine. As long as they have Kevin Durant and one or the other, they're going to be fine. They have the big three. Obviously, they're unstoppable. But I think Kevin Durant is the X factor because there is no answer for him no matter where you turn. I don't care if it's Milwaukee. I don't give a damn about a block shot that the Greek Freak recorded against them on a pull-up jumper late in the game when they played each other last week. Please. This is Kevin Durant that we're talking about. KD Trey, who I believe is the most unstoppable offensive force. Him and Steph Curry's the greatest shooter.
Yeah.
But Kevin Durant, 6'11", 7'6" wingsman, there's no answer for him come postseason time. And as long as he has Kyrie or James Harden, obviously I still consider them the favorites to come out of the Eastern Conference because I think Kevin Durant is that lethal. Without him, Brooklyn doesn't have a chance. They might not even make the conference finals.
Fair enough. Max, let me ask you this. Obviously, we haven't seen James Harden since April 5th. He's been dealing with that hamstring injury, but he says that he's very confident he's going to be back before the playoffs. So who is more important to the Nets in this playoff run? Is it Harden or is it KD? The Nets
James Harden, it's
rather.
not close. Guys, like look at the receipts. Harden showed up on the team. No continuity, no nothing, not even in shape. A walking triple-double with 30 points in wins, just with KD, no Kyrie, right? Then KD goes down, just Kyrie. He scorches the league. Then Kyrie misses games. Just James Harden, he beats teams. And what have they been like without him? What have they been like without him? By the way, they're losing every game now. And Kyrie and KD are having 30-point games each on the same night, and they're losing. James Harden is by far the most important player on that team. And I'm telling you this right now, Stephen A. With him, nobody goes 7 games with him in the East or the West if they're all healthy. Without James Harden, they won't even make the conference finals. No James Harden, I'm telling you right now, the conference finals is Philly, Milwaukee.
I will say this. I slightly disagree with that. I do believe that Philly and Milwaukee, especially Milwaukee, would have a chance to push them, fully loaded, would still have a chance to push them to a 7-game series. I'm not picking anybody to beat them, no one to beat them, but I do think they'd have a chance to push it to a 7-game series. If you play some defense, which they do, and you can be dominant in the post area, which they can be, and you force them to beat you strictly with perimeter play, Brooklyn is going to beat you in a best 4 out of 7. But it is plausible that at least 2 of those games, they won't be hitting on all cylinders from the perimeter. And at least 1 game, even while they're hitting all cylinders from the perimeter, that you can steal a game from them. So I think it's entirely possible that Milwaukee, considering what they bring to the forefront defensively in terms of their size, their defensive prowess, I think the acquisitions of Jrue Holiday, along with P.J. Tucker, are huge pickups. I think Chris Middleton will be ready to be that secondary or third option. And obviously the Greek Freak, he's not a perimeter shooter, doesn't need to be a perimeter shooter, but he has to elevate his level of defensive play. And Budenholzer's got to make sure
but who's more important? So he said Harden. Who's more important?
To me, I've said it from day one. I'll never change. It's all about KD. KD.
Even though with Harden they win 80% of their games.
It doesn't matter. This is not the playoffs. If KD is ready, come playoff time, okay, you're talking about a championship. If KD ain't ready, you ain't even talking about a berth in the finals.
No, I don't feel that way.
Max?
I don't feel that way. I think with Harden and Kyrie have a chance maybe to get to the conference finals without KD.
Got a chance.
We saw how far Harden could take a Rockets team that was totally undermanned against KD with Steph and Clay and Dre and everyone came that close to beating them, a fully loaded Warriors team because, and by the way, CP3 couldn't even play most of that game because they had James Harden. And the basketball that James Harden has been playing this year. Stephen A., you talk about like if you can defend, it doesn't matter. You can't defend the Nets because they'll pass up a good shot for a great shot because James Harden is the brains behind the operation. D'Antoni sitting on the bench. He is orchestrating an offense, and he has weapons named KD and Kyrie. Don't let their 4th option, Joe Harris, get open. He's the best shooter on the team. Resistance is futile. There is nothing you can do against that Nets offense if they're all healthy.
Yeah, but that shows your lack of knowledge about basketball because even when there is nothing that you can do, sometimes you beat yourself because it just ain't your day. Things happen. And what I'm saying, again, it's not going to happen in terms of losing a series if they're fully loaded. But I'm saying there are games in that series they could lose. Now you take KD away from the equation, and you're talking about the size. You're talking about plays slowing up in postseason time. You're talking about being dominant on the interior, relegating you to being perimeter players. You're talking about officiating, which unfortunately has played a role on far too many occasions. Well, you know how I feel. I feel officiating played a role in LeBron capturing the championship in Cleveland. Don't get me started with that. So the point is that
why
all
can't
of these
Kyrie
things,
and KD
watching
win?
basketball the way that I have, all of these things are very, very plausible. If the Nets are fully loaded, they win in the chip.
Stephen
Without
A.
KD, it ain't happening.
Why